Hello everyone, in this video I would like to cover a little bit of the data analysis. You don't need all this stuff for your labs, for lab number 1 or lab number 2, but you will need it for the midterm exam. I'm going to cover Ogives, frequency polygon, Pareto chart, pie chart. We will discuss a little bit cumulative frequencies, relative frequencies, and so on and so forth. Okay, so that's where we stopped last time. I demonstrated 3 different ways to plot a histogram. Okay, so now let's do Ogives. And Ogives, they show us cumulative frequencies. So let's maybe call it Ogive. And there is always a couple of ways to accomplish this or that task in Excel. Again, guys, if you're Excel gurus and you have well-established set of tools to accomplish this simple tasks, go for it. You can go ahead and do it. Excel is not my main tool for the data analysis. I used to use it for a couple of engineering projects related to thermodynamics, to the heat exchangers design. But for data analysis, I usually use R and Python. Okay, so let's start working on Ogive. And Ogive starts at the lower boundary of the first class. So that's the minimum. That's the minimum of this data set, which is the grades for 2017. Okay, and here we are going to have cumulative frequencies, and this is going to be our y-axis. That is why our first point, which is going to be along the horizontal axis, the minimum point, along the vertical axis, it's going to be 0. Okay, so then I will start from 4. Okay, and then I will add to 4. I'm going to add the next frequency, right? So it's going to accumulate. Okay, and then I will start going down. And I will drop down one more. Yeah, this is going to accommodate our 0 at the start. And as you can see, I have 4, then I have 4 plus 10, then I have 14 plus 17, then I have 31 plus 27, and so on and so forth, until I get the total. So the total 130. Here I usually use this chart here, so the 2-dimensional line. So why? Because there is a very convenient I would say template which makes it easier to read Ogive. Okay, as you can see, I have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If I leave it like this, and this is the common error, like to leave it as is on the exam, so that makes Ogive useless, absolutely useless. So since I need like to have the upper limits here, or like up boundaries, if we introduce boundaries, so I can see how many students got less than some limit. Okay, so that's what it shows me here. Okay, so that is why I need to go and do right click, and I need to select data, and you see here I will edit this, and I will select my lower limit. Yeah, so this is going to be my lower limit, and then I will select upper limits. Oops. So I'll press Control and select my upper limits. Okay, and I say OK, and I say OK. Okay, as you can see here, so here I start like from the 0, and this is my lower limit of the first class. Okay, so it means nobody scored less than 43.69. Okay, 43.69. 4 people, 4 students scored less than 50.68, 14 scored less than 57.68, 13 scored less than 64.68, and so on and so forth. And the 130 scored less than 99.68. So that's what Ogives shows us. Yeah. So we can do the same. For the relative cumulative frequencies. This is going to give us the ogive in percentage. Yeah. So that's is going to give us so-called percentiles. Okay. Instead of 4, 14, 31, 58, 90, we are going to see how many students like in percent got less than some of those limits. Okay, so let's call it maybe ogive. Let's call it percent. And so we just need to take, so 0 stays 0 here, but here we will take 4 and divide it by 130. So we can just type in 130, or we can just click 130 and fix this, because we don't want this to change. We don't want this to change, because if I start propagating down, if I don't fix it, so it will try to grab all those values here and then just empty cells while I'm moving down and substitute them here. So that is why I will press F4. As you can see, those dollar signs, dollar symbols here and there. So that means that this value is fixed and it's not going to change. So those values are going to change. Yeah, so it's going to take 14 and divide it by 130 next. Okay. So then I will double click and a little bit down. Okay. And here what I'm going to do, I'm going to format this. Grab this, right click, format cells, and I will format that in percentage. Yeah, like 2 should be good. So okay, so that's what I have, and now I can plot Ogive. So I can go ahead and insert. Again, I will do the same, and I will put Ogive here. And I will grab some template right there. See, very convenient. So everything is nicely aligned. Yeah, so I don't need to go and align it manually myself. Okay. And again, so what I need to do, so let's call it maybe Ogive for the relative cumulative frequency. Let's just put percent here. Okay, so then I will right click and I will select data, and I will edit this one, and this is going to be again my lower limit of the first class. Yes, and then I will just select this. I'm just pressing Control and selecting all those cells. Okay, and I say okay, and okay. Ogives are done. I can also do the same for just the frequencies. And plot the histogram for the relative frequencies. But let's do something different. Usually, like one of the main purposes of the histogram to see the distribution shape. So here we have enough of the histogram generated, so we can make some judgment about the shape. Here we have the normal distribution, nice bell shape. So that's what we expect to see usually. So with the average, so which is reasonable, very reasonable. So almost a perfect normal distribution. So again, that's what we expect to see. Okay, so let's do maybe same thing just with the frequencies, and let's plot the pie chart. Okay, so let's so this is our frequencies, relative frequencies, and this is equal to frequency again divided by 130. Yeah, let's just type in that value. So and this is going to be treated as the constant. Okay, so let's double click. Okay, and same thing, right click and view format cells, and let's make it percentage, and we say okay. And those are relative frequencies. So those are relative frequencies. So let's save that. Yeah, and instead of generating one more histogram, let's grab all those relative frequencies and let's insert. And here we have the pie or donut. Let's do pie, donut. I'm on the diet. Okay, so let's do pie chart. So this is pie chart. And yeah, here let's insert our classes. Right click. Let's select data, edit. Let's select our classes. So okay, okay. Yeah, you can play around with that if you want to. Usually I do not deduct if you don't do it. So if you do something like this, totally fine. But yeah, as you can see here in the left top corner, you can see add chart elements. For example, you can add labels, different ways to add labels. For example, something like this. In this case, and you can go to home and maybe play around with format, maybe make it slightly bigger the text. Okay, something like that. Okay, so something like that. You can play around with with the look. But as I said, if you just do the pie chart and put here your classes, that's enough. Okay, what else we can do? So we can do the so-called frequency polygon, and frequency polygon is just going to connect the midpoints here. So it's going to be the midpoint of each of the classes. Okay, and here on the y-axis we are going to have frequencies. Okay, so frequencies. So this is just kind of support chart for our histogram, and it's going to show us the shape of the distribution. So it's just going to be a little bit more clear shape shown, like on the frequency polygon. Okay, so let's do it. So let's generate midpoint, and again we want to lock it from the sides. We are going to lock it with the minimum point on the left and with the maximum point on the right. Otherwise, it's going to be hanging in the air, and yeah, the shape is going to be distorted if it's going to be hanging in the air. So let's put here maybe frequency polygon. So let's go ahead and yes, let's go to home. Yes, here merchant center. So let's put the frequency polygon. Okay, so here along the x we are going to have midpoints, and along the y we are going to have frequencies. And as I said, we are going to lock it with 0, so this is going to be our first point, and here we will put, yes, our minimum. Yeah, so the minimum is right there. go for it. So this is the medium point. So then we have midpoints. So let's calculate the midpoints. So this is equal to, so this is equal to, so that's a lower limit plus upper limit, okay, and divided by 2. Okay, so then if we drop it down here, so see it's going to be the midpoint of the next class, and we will start moving down, and we go here and again 1 down. Okay. So 96.185, so that's the midpoint. So that's the midpoint right here of the last class. Okay, and so then here we are going to lock it with the maximum. So this is going to be also 0, and we will lock it with the maximum. This is equal to, and this is the maximum point. Okay, and then here in between we will have frequencies. So let's just grab our frequencies, and let's copy, and we are going to copy only values without the formula, because if you copy the formula, so the result might be distorted, yeah, because we are moving, so we are moving those cells, and again, like those cells, they're referring like on the other cells and so on and so forth. So that is why in this case I recommend just to copy the values. Okay, and done. We are going to use scatter plot here, and let's do something like this. Yeah, as you can see, we have again that bell shape. So let's move it here, and let's call it frequency polygon. Okay. So what else we can do? We can compare our classes. We can sort our classes from the class with the lowest frequency to the class with the highest frequency. And this is called Pareto chart. So let's do it here. So this is going to be our Pareto chart. And we will do it separately from the main frequency table, and I'm going to grab my frequencies and I'll paste them here, just the values, okay, and then I will grab my classes, I will copy them and paste them here, again just the values. So let's maybe a little bit align those, make them centered. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab this, I will right click and I will say sort smallest to largest. Then I will say propagate the selection to the next column, expand the selection, and I'll say sort. And you see now this is sorted and this was sorted accordingly. Okay, here I have 4, and this is my class from 43.69 to 50.68. Here I have 6, yes, and 6, where 6 here, 6 is there. See, it's 92.69, 99.68, it's right there. Okay, and then what I will do, I will just grab this and insert, and this is to the column, and then this is called Pareto chart. Okay, and I will right click, select data, edit, and I will place those sorted classes. Okay, that's it. So let's move it here. Move it here. And this should be good. Yeah, here we don't need to eliminate the gaps. Yeah, I think this is a more convenient representation for analysis. Yeah, and I can see what is the highest class, the class with the highest frequency. So this is 71.69 to 78.68. So that's the class with the highest frequency. Okay, and the class with the lowest frequency is from 43.69 to 50.68. Okay. Okay, so that's it. So that's it for this tutorial. And in the next tutorial, I'm going to cover everything you need for lab number 2. So let's save this, and we are done.